banget, cok. Si urip maneh. Kenapa hari ini aku masih hidup di dunia ya? Kenapa hari ini aku masih hidup di dunia ya?
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Nervylette. Just fast forward to the part where the Of course, it is only natural.
That's true, but my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking her duty, but...
Charge accepted. Lady Farina, do you plead guilty to the charge? Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be—
Yeah, even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric,
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure, Lady Farina can be super irresponsible, but...
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon. See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. If you wish to drop the case...
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? You have to not only refute—
Well, I tried. And if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
500 years, okay.
That doesn't sound right. First of all, you may be a member of an...
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harp.
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might match, but in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
Nervylette sensed it too, huh?
Lady Farina... Well, it is true that...
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if Besides, everyone knows that for centuries, manifestations of my authority. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house, or consider the endemnitium that...
You tried to reference the Oratrice, but weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the...
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans.
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
I never thought you'd use that kind of
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all should respect and follow.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice. Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
The real Hydro Archon? Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is...
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratrice.
My power as an Archon. There are many ordinary citizens in the audience. How can I just carelessly demonstrate the formidable power of an Archon?
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and I've converted the people's faith in justice into Indemnitium! Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives. Have you ever seen a more magnanimous god?
Isn't that a huge stretch?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power?
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone. Please don't. I'm still the same Farina you knew, right? The one that you loved. Shouldn't you, please?
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a great...
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents?
Enough. That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro, if you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can...
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. How can... that doesn't sound...
Apa sih, Cok?
It has been established that all Fontanians can...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the...
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I swear that now. I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, taking many lives, including those. So, Miss Farina, would you dare to touch some of this seawater? If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching this seawater would have no effect on you. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years.
If Lady Farina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontanian like all the rest of us. Would she really dare?
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline participation.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession of guilt.
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word.
What's going on? Is she really planning to...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina, you may...
What?
Hey!
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! My hand is still here! I haven't been dissolved! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water! Really? Was this not the most obvious thing in the world?
Miss Siegewin? If you're present, Miss Siegewin, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
Siegewin?
Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds. That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the court, Miss Siegewin.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that she was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar concentration.
Thank you, Miss Siegewin. Lady Farina, you may return to the defendant's stand.
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved! Shouldn't that be enough to prove my innocence?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. After all, we don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low-concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as an expert witness. It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used. Farina could have...
I can't believe... You... Listen to me, everyone! Please don't give me such cold and disdainful looks! Think about it! How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't also be affected by the primordial seawater? Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my hand in that kind of water? Please, anyone, just listen to me! I swear, I really am your Archon!
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her now.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think they're...
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway her. She's too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is... guilty. We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Farina is...
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
No. The Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus. The Hydro Archon, guilty, to be punished via the death sentence.
The death sentence?
That's actually one of the available sentences?
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court, and it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice? What an unexpected twist.
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us.
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal sentences, is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah! Even Fauché wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Farina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon. What does this mean?
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Fremine! You finally made it.
Any mission Father assigns to me will
Is that the first prophecy slate? Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to try and
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. It took, but has the trial already concluded? Then, does it?
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left on the slate. Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates, and would like you to come here and confirm their contents.
Huh? So what do you see? What is it?
I believe I have now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's...
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's for... so when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro Archon we've been kinda talking about?
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other... The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her to... Does that mean that Fontanians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, Paimon, wasn't it? The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people... This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontanians were branded with their original... The third slate shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea That reminds Paimon... Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontanians have been talking about. People dissolving it. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we? But after that incident, it was just a...
We know from the case of the seer, and the first stone slate tells us that long ago the Hydro Archon used her power. This might be the reason. Perhaps what is about to take place has the true sin of the Hydro Archon and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia. It's not as simple. When Navia fell into the sea, her consciousness with the stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society. The fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial seawater. If we hadn't dealt with it in time, things could have gone very...
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the sea. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means that her sin... Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide was the surest sign that the stone slate's content can all be verified by recent events. If we combine what... You can make, but then it feels like we're going to have to share some truly shocking revelations.
Let's hear them.
Incredible! Linny, did you hear that?
We're not real humans.
All Fontainians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontainians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned... Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial, all of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that ancient...
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese.
Yeah! Isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into this? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been... In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an addition. When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3 slates at the time, now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within. If everything goes well, we should finally...
Well,
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. I will try to... Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontanians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were in the Fontaine of old. The previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of it. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon as one of the not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanid's blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontanians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of
So you...
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend. Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was...
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontanian.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are a key point of the visual on the third slate is how all they have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in the nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. Instead of being the literal you may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness, therefore, the meaning of the third slate, that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice. Yes, it refers to our present situation.
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, even in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold. So now, it seems...
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled.
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy about the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could... As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before. This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come. We must find the root...
It was both dream...
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
The truth, the original sin, the trial.
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here. That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars. It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea, it's...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontanians out of Oceanids...
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontanian. Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case, won't it come back to target the people again once—
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, from the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long—
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we definitely didn't expect it to help us. Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster recorded in the prophecy, all we need to do to stop—
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this, even if the entirety of Tevat were to be destroyed, it could still survive.
That's not something I will— We've already done everything we can, and we even found the true culprit. We've come so far. You can't just tell me that the last hurdle is some impossible foe. That's just not fair.
Indeed. That's not how a grand performance should end.
I'll fight it to the end. No matter what.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes. What has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners, where the gods' gaze does not fall? Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future. All you need to do is to play your part.
What's happening with the Oratrice?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Farina!
No, I still need answers.
What is this, bro? Lah.
You...
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing.
You are not Farina. Who are you?
The sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor. You know.
Focalor? Why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness no, the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly prince?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused. She knew full well that the prophecy, and as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume, although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties, but one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to—
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by each—
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and— The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Farina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess. But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person I always wanted to be. Anyway, so then, all part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive the heavenly principles. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydra Archon alone, weeping on her throne. In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Farina to be an actress, to play the part of the Hydra Archon in the prophecy. Under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play the part of the— I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclese.
But Farina is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, it's been 500, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and agonizingly painful opera of all time.
Benar bahwa dia experience lah. Kok kamu unstead? Benar. Monster.
Ad Astra Abyss. Ad Astra Abyssos. Thank you for completing.
Vokalor. Dah. Disuruh ngulang lagi, Pok.
You.
Sorry. That shocked.
You are not Farina.
Ah, the sweet.
Fusalo.
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. The heavenly.
Deceiving the.
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. One was not amused. In fact, she knew full well that the prophet. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heaven. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. I had to outwit the heavenly prince. I'm a genius, I know. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I—
So you were also once one of the Oceanids?
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do. Even now, after becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her the me you see before. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and her strengths were of a kind but in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. Anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course. The plan to Do you still remember the final scene of— In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Fosalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called—
But Farina is only human. Even though she has had a long life, I cannot begin to—
It has indeed. And although she is, it's been far and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely.
Wes cok, cepet cok. Temu Farina. Allah, minum bodrek biar nggak mumet. Cepatlah, jangan lupa ya. Nggak bisa lari langsung.
Oh? Who permitted you to come onto the stage? Now, I understand your admiration for my august self. All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not distract me from my performance. Oh, do not jest. Can you not feel it? I am Focalor. The eyes of countless Fontanians are upon me. I must, at all times, display the utmost Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough.
Time for retribution! Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards? Guards! Verdict is...
This moment will be frozen in time.
Prepare to be blown away!
Try not to enjoy this too much.
Tiket ya enggak tahu, tanya yang mau tanya saya. Lah. Jadi si kembali. Nggak bisa lari coy. Lambat ini.
Verena.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid. I am before you.
Wait a moment. You're mirror me? How can this be?
Mirror you, huh? You know what? That's not bad. Let's go with that.
Mirror me. What do you wish to say?
The prophecy. Have you heard of it?
What prophecy? Wait. I know. I think the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on her throne.
Oh, very good.
What's going on? I can't seem to remember anything.
Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you. Does that...
But doesn't that mean everyone will die? I'm a Fontanian, just...
Oh, don't worry. Magical meetings exist in this world precisely. I will tell you how to save everyone, but you may have to suffer somewhat.
Oh, so there's still hope after all. Goodness, you frightened me. You spoke so much and with so much certainty. As for the suffering, well, I will admit that but if the prophecy will come true, I'll also die if there were scales, with all the people of Fontaine on one side and my pain on the other.
You truly are the perfect human. I suppose this would also be the justice that belongs to you.
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon. I need you to play a role. That of the new Archon.
Play as a god?
That's right. You must begin a never-ending masquerade. You must never let anyone suspect your identity. If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying this prophecy. But
But how will I do this? A human assuming the role of a god without being exposed.
Don't worry. What you must do is not to turn yourself into being a human yourself. I'm sure you already know what such an entity would be like. Remember, your true challenge will not be pursuing divinity.
I'm still not sure I understand, but... So, how long am I going to have to
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage for many, many years, but I promise you, all will eventually end in
a trial. Huh.
Pidato pengangkatan Furina. Lah.
The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession. What should I say to most appear like a god? To be honest. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome to the Opera Epiclese. I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydro Archon. Indeed, I am Verena de Fontaine, your new Archon. In truth, I know little about becoming a nation's new god, but it will be my honor to guide you all. As the god Focalor, the god of justice, I shall do all within my power to lead you into an age of... Once again, thank you all for coming. If you should have any questions or suggestions, please send them to the... This should do it. I thought I might stammer, but thankfully, I was able to.
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity.
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions there at the.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest.
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen. She might just.
Wait, what's going on? Why is everyone suspecting me of being a fake? Right. Mirmi said that I just need to play the role of a god as he calmed down, Farina. Think. What do the people want? How assertive, with a strong sense of presence. One who can dispel all doubt. Oh, very good, my people. Only one. Now, I was wondering if some weak puppet were to one day come onto the stage and claim ownership of this opera house, would the children of Fontaine follow them? Well, it seems that you would all see right through them. Having passed my test, you are qualified to you may consider my previous act a door gift of sorts. Now then, let us be reintroduced.
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were inside an...
Personality? It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. Best follow this flow and restart my My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, keep faith in your ardor. We have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer be washed away. Well, I say that justice is most fragrant when it blooms amid sin. The scales of justice should not. May law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. Let us love. There is no trouble in so long as I, the Archon Focalor, stand within the Opera Epiclese. So long as I stand before the oratrice.
Ini bahasa apa tuh?
Lady Farina, here are today's case reports, as well as a summary of the follow-up for your perusal.
Come now, was I not just at the Opera House in person? Leave these. Besides, none of these trials were the one that I'm looking forward to the most.
If I may be so impertinent, what kind of trial are you truly looking forward to?
A magnificent, dramatic, and wondrous trial. A trial to end all things.
That's true. I fear I lack the ability to grasp your divine thought, Lady Archon.
No need for fright, and do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now, do your duties. The trial I await. It will come one day.
Lady Farina, I don't know what to say. Thank you for agreeing to see me.
No need to thank me. Or rather, thank your own sense of perseverance instead. Long have you stood in line to meet me, have you not? Oh, I'm afraid that's just an inevitable consequence of my divine charm. All right, Deoteria, is it? How is your son's illness?
You remembered me, and you knew of my family, too. He's doing much better now. In fact, he is far more of an ardent believer than I. He was the one who forced me to seek an audience with you, and to bring your words back to him.
Oh, good. Very good. If this should happen again in the future, please do not hesitate to come and tell me. Going down to citizens' homes every so often, while not usual practice, should serve as a fine change of pace.
Oh, you're such a gentle and wise god. Thank you once again, on behalf of my son.
Lady Farina, here are the latest hydrological reports. As for the specific parameters you asked to take note of...
I see. It's as I thought, then. As your god, all manner of signs indicate that the prophecy will still...
Well, as I understand it, the Fontaine...
Really? Have they found...
I'm afraid that they haven't found any effect...
Oh, is that so? Well, no wonder. This issue has reached the realm of the gods, after all. Still, there's...
Lah kasur Cok.
The day is finally over. But it's good to see that everything's getting on track. Or maybe this is fine. I just... Alright, Farina.
Gedung Opera Farina. Adegan 4.
Lady Farina, here are the new trial reports for the latest cases as well.
There'll be no need for that. I've seen them all.
Lady Farina, I've waited...
Indeed, my dear, loyal citizen. This joyous moment...
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant hydrological anomalies near...
Understood. Keep monitoring. I don't think I let anything slip today. Just don't know when these days will end. I feel utterly exhausted.
Opera lagi. What the fuck? 182375.
Lady Farina, it's like a dream being... I've heard that the first member of our family...
And what a fine family yours is indeed.
Are you crying?
Oh, really now? I didn't even notice. This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god.
No wonder. No wonder. A manifestation of your power, then. Oh,
So interminable. Hundreds of years must have passed by now. I never imagined that if I reached my limit, I want to tell someone, anyone, about this. But I've conducted so many investigations across the centuries. All I can do is keep heart. I must maintain this act.
Farina, you don't have to shoulder this burden alone. Although I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone, your people are more than willing to share your burden with you.
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone.
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, you can still choose to confide in someone. Just share it with me. I'm what you'd call a witness.
A witness? Yes, I've heard that you came to Tevat, and if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, if that's the case... She's right. I could confide in her, couldn't I? But if things don't play out as expected... No, Farina, you shouldn't be selfish. But what if it's really alright? Farina, you've worked so hard for so long. Surely it would be okay to put yourself first for once. Just this one. Is it such an outrageous thing to do anyway? To find someone in whom you can confide. If you let this opportunity slip through your fingers, think about it. Long and hard. No, I have nothing to say. I am Farina, the Archon of Fontaine. Everything will surely get better. All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness my performance until the curtains fall.
10% Pendar Altende tak nyalakan dulu.
Fine.
Fine.
So even Farina doesn't know the truth? You've never once let her in on the full plan?
Yes, it had to be done. To deceive the heavenly principles, she did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once in these 5 centuries, it seems that trusting humanity was the right decision after all.
I believe that I understand how your deception works, but that is only half the truth, is it not? How would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontaine? That is the most important.
Good. Of course, the Iudex of Fontaine has pinpointed the crux of the issue. I'm sure you've long sensed that the Oratrice is no simple machine, yes?
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Lenny did mention that he heard a human voice within the core chamber. It now seems that that person was you, hidden within the machine all along. Am I right?
And then I became one with the Oratrice, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, it would seem so, wouldn't it? Alas, your understanding of this device still... In truth, it is no enactor of justice. It is, in fact, a device created to kill the god of justice.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the Oratrice take... I mean, did you think I would be the sort to enjoy my work over these last 500 years? Has been to but really, some have already discovered that only a small fraction of the energy generated by the device was ever used to provide power to Fontaine. The vast majority had to be, accumulated.
It was all a part of your plan then? Both the trial...
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontainians for millennia, had it only been used for that purpose. But only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydro Archon's divine throne. Shaking...
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Farina nor Focalor, but for the Hydro Archon. The destruction of that divine throne. If I do not misunderstand your...
Returning what's rightfully yours to you, of course. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon...
But...
Oh, what? Getting sad again, are we? The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours once more, O Hydro Dragon Sovereign. And
all you've done throughout the years is just so you can sacrifice yourself at the very end.
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now, I'm quite pleased at how well my Hydro Dragon, don't cry. I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge the heavenly principles. Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea, and the heavenly principles stole... I, for my part, am the god of justice. And is it not just that your original powers should be returned to you? Speaking of justice, I have always believed that justice lies in the process of pursuit. So, if the theft of the primordial sea's might would then, leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent of the Fontainians as humans and their right to exist in this world would be Fontaine's original In other words, existence was Egeria's justice, and to me, justice is the continuation of that existence. Defying the prophecy and ensuring that Fontaine's people shall live on. That at this point, we, whether it be myself, Iudex Neuvillette, the highest judge in our land, when you regain your full power as an elemental sovereign.
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve as Iudex, I see now that that was your idea too. At last, I now understand the true purpose behind this position. In the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside them have gradually brought about mutual understanding between us. And you are a devious one, Focalor. Things being as they are, surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Nervalette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
Judex Nouvelette, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
What just happened? Has the death sentence been carried out?
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection?
But since we're all still alive and haven't been dissolved, I assume whatever happened was good for us.
It's time to end this. We must mete out punishment to that beast.
Didn't you say just a moment ago that I can't—
I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means, I now have we should seize the opportunity to pursue our quarry. Traveler, now that the oratories can no longer function, I require an executor to help me mete out just the root of the calamities befalling Fontaine. The beast that enacts the prophecy. Come with me, traveler. The hour of execution has come.
Udah sejam nih bro aku rekaman. Udah sejam nih bro aku live maksudnya. Iya bentar lagi akan berakhir. Nanti besok lagi jam 14.
Done my best to see the power of the planet away. Considering the size of the beast, I cannot reach the power source. Unless we can find a way to attack it from within. We'll share a part of the ancient dragon's power with you. We shall look for an opening together. I can feel its sorrow turning into hostility.
Time for retribution!
The all-devouring narwhal cannot resist its instinct to devour. Continue to trigger its hostility. It will present itself.
Thingy over there. It looks very scary.
I have granted you my protection. Do not fear. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its root from within.
Frostbite. Cool it.
Makan dulu, bro.
Is that all you've got? Manifest the authority of the ancient dragons. Witness the might of the primordial sea.
Dodge this.
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but it was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple and my... Well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point, but they bumped into one another earlier than I thought. What a blunder.
That power.
Paimon has an idea. From what she said earlier, it's just that he gave us the impression that she was,
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. But you, on the other hand... So you may speak to me as equals. I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's primordial waters just to raise an all-devouring That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. It eats too much. And I have more important things to do with my time than pet sitting. All in all, it fails as a pet.
Miss Skirk? I think you might have missed the...
The point being...
Well, being that this pet almost destroyed an entire nation. So what sort of person is your master? Well, child's...
Oh, right. So you don't know... His name is Sir Tologi.
Huh?
I am unfamiliar with...
Huh. So Master isn't sufficiently famous.
The fowl?
Still nothing? Well, how about the Visionary?
Ooh, that one we've heard! Rhymedotter's part of the Hexen Circle.
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, I also heard all of those names in title, but I suppose you understand now, yes? My master...
Wait! Didn't you also mention a visionary person?
Actually, never mind that. That the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength fighting you. Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the As such, the fontaine back on the surface has most likely been thrown. In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over.
What?
Not to worry. Focalor has already managed to deceive the...
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Farina will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
All hands, initiate emergency rescue!
Hurry!
Hey, lend a hand!
Look! The water's receding!
It's a miracle!
Water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong! The prophecy was wrong!
Are you alright?
We're saved. The prophecy was wrong.
The soul renewed. The Sweet Diva Sula talks post-disaster rebuilding. I recently visited Poisson to meet with Miss Navia, spokesperson of the Spirit. Old soil can still give birth to new skyship winglet, lunar bane of the Fontaine race. The various disputes that have arisen, people always call the first research. Wow, Paimon barely recognizes the people in the reports. Are those really Courier and Navia? They sound like real big shots.
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The Steambird's idea was pretty simple. With the disaster just having passed, the value for these big scoops lies in their inevitable follow-ups. We'll publish further reports and go into the stories behind those. Edwin's assistant, Jurier, created a true flying ship, while Navia is leading people in the reconstruction of their home. I'm sure that these...
Paimon's curious too! Wait a minute. Didn't we watch everything happen?
And that's exactly why I'd like you to come
are you sure? Hasn't he turned you down?
Oh, this time will be different. Come on! Let's head to Poisson first, and then make a trip